Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, this is Stevie Aisha Mills, and I am back for another phenomenal episode of The Conversation. I love The Conversation with Stevie, not just because it's my name, but because I get to bring you some great guests like the one we have today. And so, we've been featuring the sponsors of Experience Atlanta, and we just are so thankful for what they've done, how they've invested, and who they are. And let's begin by reading this bio so we can have a conversation with this phenomenal woman I have the pleasure of being connected to. So she is a self-titled, results-validated branding and marketing genius. She is a pace setter, a needle mover, and an industry fire starter. She is a woman with a master plan, a marketer with a message, and the brains behind the brands of several industry influencers in the online realm. She is Audria Richmond. Hi, Audria.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to have you with us. Doing good today. I'm excited for a lot of reasons. First off, thank you for sponsoring Experience Atlanta. I am very thankful for that. Second, because I am in one of the greatest groups on Facebook, I get to see you a lot, and I just love what you're doing. It definitely resonates with me, and so thank you for being here. Let's start by just talking more about who you are and that amazing group on Facebook, because it does have so much to do with the work you do.
Yeah, so I basically work with personal brands as far as like branding and marketing is concerned. And I work directly with them on a strategic level and a visual level. Recently I launched Uncloned Life, which is a movement and a lifestyle brand that's really designed to help people with issues. Typically, people have issues with being themselves because we're taught to be like this person or taught to be like that person or follow this person's formula or do this person's blueprint. And Uncloned Life was pretty much birthed out of not wanting to confine myself to that and really kind of breaking off the chains away from industry standards. And that's how Uncloned Life came about. We started the group as a way for like-minded individuals to come in a group, talk to each other, get to know each other, and just really be a place where you don't have to worry about being judged, because it is a no-judgment zone. And that particular movement is based off my book, Uncloned Life.
Awesome. And I love it because my book, Cultivating Your It Factors, is the same message alignment, and I do think that it is very important for brands to really become more signature. I think that the next question we'll talk about in that vein is very much, what do you think brands have been missing over the years that have been drawing them more into being more signature and more personal? Do you think that the trends have changed a lot from what we have seen in the news and in the media, and that's why, or why is it coming about now that in 2017 we are becoming more personal brands and more uncloned?
Well, I think one of the reasons we're cloned is because we're being so clone objectives, right? So how to make 6 figures in 2 days, and I'm going to teach you how to grow your Instagram following in 2 minutes. And I think with that kind of mentality going on in the market, what that does is it takes away the growth, the journey, right? That slow growth, that organic journey. And everybody is so quick to get a quick buck. And that leaves us in this whole cookie-cutter framework because everybody want to know, how did you do that? Girl, how did you do that? How did you get that many followers? How did you make that much money in a weekend? And so on and so forth, right? And we're checking for everybody else's stats and metrics and things like that, except for checking for ourselves, right? And I think if we take a moment to slow down, check for ourselves, check for what it is that we have going on, I think we would be light years ahead of the game because, you know, the root of Uncloned Life is really trusting yourself, right? When you trust yourself, you are not a clone. When you don't trust yourself, you need to be validated. You got to go and talk to everybody and get everybody's approval. So I do believe that the moment that people begin to trust themselves, not try to seek guidance from who they think is on and popping all the time, and really get to a point where, hey, you know what, I have an amazing idea. I think it'll work, and then go for it. And then wait on and kind of gauge where you go from there, as opposed to thinking that because you didn't make 6 figures in 30 days that you're not valuable.
Wow. Yes. And I think that it also has a lot to do with what you're saying, like, because so many thoughts just popped off when you said that. About 1 million popped off, and I think specifically because it is true. It is very true. We live in a clone society, especially on social media. And because it's on social media, I felt something right there. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk on that. Go ahead. Go ahead with what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at social media, right, and I mean, we're all victim of it at some extent. And if you have not gotten online, good luck, because I would love for you to trust yourself and the things that you want to test out. I think, when I brought my business online, my brand became very clone because I was that person prior to coming online that didn't do what everybody else did. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that I created, even down to my magazine, it was not a traditional magazine. It was a lot of things that I did. My events were different. But as soon as I came online, everybody right or wrong way on how it's going to be successful or not. And that's when you hear these people who, that come out of nowhere with 0 followers and became a millionaire. And you're like, well, that's not standard. You're supposed to have 50,000 followers. You get what I'm saying? So I think you're starting to see a lot of people change up what normal looks like because people are starting to trust themselves. And we see it all day, every day. I mean, when you think about, like the TV show Insecure, like that was definitely an uncloned TV show as it relates to how she got on. So I think, we're starting to see it. I just think that people just have to trust that process.
Awesome. I think that is definitely the word that is hard. Trust. And I think a lot of times, even in my life, where I can see where I did not trust the process, trust myself, trust any of this, because you definitely do see, like, what's safe, right? Trusting yourself is not necessarily safe. And it is even, and it's, like, so amazing that the message that you really have is to trust yourself and trust the process. I think that is something that does make perfect sense when it comes to being an individual. But how do we do that? How do we just really go forth and trust? When we see so much noise online, or offline for that matter, how do we say, okay, well, y'all may be doing that, but I'm going to do this too?
Just do it. You said it perfectly. I think this is why I know trust is the root of all of these things. Is because let's just use an example, right? Let's say I'm at the mall and I got asked to be a speaker at an event, okay? And I'm going to the mall, I'm going to look for a dress that I really want to wear, and this dress I want to wear is so amazing. However, it is so abnormal. I have not seen anybody wear this dress before. It's not trending in some fashion report. No fashion blogger had wore it on her Instagram page. And I'm just like, I've never seen anybody wear it. Now, I got 2 things that's going to happen in my brain. I'm either A, going to play it safe and just say, that's a cool looking dress, but not for what I'm doing because I ain't really heard about it. Nobody I know has seen it. Or you're going to go the uncloned way and say, you know what, I'm about to change the game because ain't nobody got this dress, and you trust yourself to call your friends, not to call your mama, auntie, cousin, best friend, to ask for their opinion of whether or not they like it. You don't need to take a selfie and send it to your trusted advisors to get their approval. You know what I mean? even if it's not going to be on social media, we all got that one person we want to run ideas by, right? And sometimes they could be misguiding you. So I think you have to get to a point where you go beyond first sharing it on social media to get approval, and then another level, super deep, is going beyond your trusted advisors. This may be your husband. This may be your parent. It may be your friend. And hell, it may be your coach, right? So I think when you get to the point where you trust yourself and you trust the process, that's all that really counts at the end of the day.
Wow. You've made that super simple. You've made it super simple for everybody. Y'all just trust yourselves. And I think that the work, like, that sounds so simple when we're here with you. And this is why you're great at what you do, because I love, even in the courses that I've taken with you, you break things down like it's just easy. You know, it just makes the complex things very simple, and I love it, very relatable. And so what happens is, like, we're on the line with you right now, but when we go home or when we, you know, get off the conversation, we're like, okay, now what? And I think what the beauty of it is that you do have materials and you do have courses to bring us back to that process. The next question is,
and you have to be around. You have to be around people. You have to be around people who listen to you, right? And that's really hard. You came up in a very structured environment. We all live in this structured society. You know, you got to go to school, and if you have a kid out of wedlock, something wrong with you. You crazy. Like, I mean, we all have these things that we live in society that are not, you know, quote unquote, a standard, and society already enough make it hard for you, right? So the last thing you need is to be around somebody who's not going to support you trusting yourself, because that can be an issue too. You know, I'll give you an example. Like today, you know, I talked about losing group and how I wanted to lose 40 pounds in, 20 days. And people who don't believe that for themselves projected that energy off on me, saying, oh, that's crazy. You're going to be sick. You're going to run yourself in the ground and da-da-da-da. They don't trust that they can do it, right? So them projecting that energy on me can be conflicting, especially when you're trying to grow.
Wow. You're right. You're right. And we all come from those, like, backgrounds of traditions in our household. And it's so interesting. You know, I haven't been married, but I do know that you are. And it's like when you come from a whole different household and somebody else comes from a whole different household and y'all get in the house and it's just you create your own ecosystem. I think that's very interesting. That could the same could be said for branding and marketing, because we do have this world of coaches now, and social media has definitely become that reflection of a lot of different things. I think sometimes what I say is that you have to put your blinders, rollerblades, and headphones on. Blinders to keep you focused, rollerblades to keep you moving, and headphones to drown out the noise, because it could be easy for you to be caught up in just all this stuff. Instead of just figuring out what it is that you want to do, you start cloning yourself, right? You start cloning yourself and morphing into this thing. So I love the fact that you help us to just get unclear. And I think that one thing that's very cool about what you do is not only do you have materials, but you do photo shoots, right? You have that gift, and that's amazing. And I think that even when it comes to the way that we show up visually, right, photography, headshots, things like that are such a big thing. What are some uncloned tips that you can give us as far as being a photographer and getting in front of your camera?
So I have two different approaches to photography. My first approach to photography is your traditional, headshots. I need these pictures for my speaker kit and stuff like that. Then you have your editorial photography, which is what we see, since Fashion Week is coming up. Go pick up a copy of Vogue or InStyle, right? When you go inside of those magazines, those photographers take more of a campaign editorial approach. which means they have a theme that they're going for, a look that they're going for. And sometimes that may not be ideal if these are photos you're going to be utilizing all the time, right? So I feel like it depends on your goals. You can definitely get crazy uncloned with an editorial campaign, but if you're using these photos for business, then you still need your traditional headshots, like, your headshots, your quarter-length shots, which is from your kneecap all the way up, and then you have your full length, which is from head to toe. Typically, I like to tell my clients to take pictures on white backgrounds, mainly because I'm cut out and put on different things when we start developing, promo material, marketing collateral like your workbooks, your e-books, your keynote slides, your PowerPoints, things like that. So I think it just depends on the person, but we're really moving more so into an editorial society anyway, right? Because every campaign is different. Every marketing campaign. I mean, even with your tour, right? You're going to these different cities. You can still carry on a different theme for each tour, even though it's the same concept for the tour. Does it make sense?
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
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 Yeah. I just think it'd be cool.
Yeah. And it's so amazing to think about how I think it's fun to think about the ways you could be uncloned. You could be uncloned but still be professional. I think that's great what you just said, because we do love to be creative, but we have to keep it professional at the same time, and that's great that you mentioned that. Have you always been this?
Especially when you go in. I'm sorry.
No, go.
No, I was saying especially when you go inside of different environments, right? You have some environments that are cloned, and you have to abide by their rules and regulations, right? If somebody say you need to wear this to my event because this is the thing we're going for, you have to respect it, right? That's their environment, that's their thing. But when you become a craftsman of your own thing, you create your own thing, you don't have any rules or regulations. You do you, right? And you create an environment that people come into and respect, right? This is when it gets wonky. When somebody who has a very cloned mindset wants to come into an uncloned environment and they forget where they are, right? It's kind of like no home training. So I think everybody has these different environments, but I think when you come into them, you have to respect where you are, because that gives that person the freedom to just be themselves without any judgment.
Mhm. And that's big, especially when you talk about collaboration and partnership. And, our friends who are still corporate climbers, that's still this definitely is true, because you do have to adapt to these different environments. Have you always been uncloned? Did you grow up being uncloned, or did you have to learn that behavior?
It's definitely learned. I think everybody is uncloned at birth, right? Everybody that comes to this earth and takes their first breath, right? We're all uncloned. And then we get all of these different conditioning, all of these different rules. Then we factor in religion. Then we factor in politics. Then we factor in education and upbringing and where you come from and drugs and all sorts of stuff that really confines you, right? So I definitely feel like it's a behavior that I wouldn't even say it's a behavior that has to be learned. I think it's things we have to unlearn to become back to our authentic self. We have to say, you know what, you can do that, but I'm not going to do that because that doesn't sit with me. That doesn't sit with my value. We all do something that we do to fit in because it's a society standard, but if we had it our way, we would probably cut all our hair off if we didn't want to get judged by the mom that wants us to keep our hair. We all have those different things that we would do with just with no problem, total freedom, but because we are afraid of being liked, right, liked in our relationships, liked by our parents, liked at work, liked by our clients, we are so subject to crazy stuff So I think it's definitely a behavior that can be, I do feel like you can learn to be uncloned, but it's really a lot of unlearning you have to do first before you can really step into yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are almost done. I can't believe it. We're having so much fun. That's why everybody has to come to experience Atlanta, because you cannot get all this greatness in just the conversation with Stevie, but you can get it at the live event. And so what I want to ask really is, what do you think, like I always ask us this, Stevie, before we leave, we have got to uncover this for the people. So what is that thing or things that you think people should know prior to us ending the conversation today?
I believe that everybody should really, I'm going to talk more so on the business side, because I know you might have some other people who may not have a business, so I'm going to speak more so to the business people. I think we have to start thinking like influencers and cherry pick our opportunities instead of being subject to whatever comes to us. I think even when you work for yourself and people come to work with you, I still think we should start being a little bit more picky about who we work with and not be at the mercy of people, because we got to pay a bill. So it's definitely a lot you can learn from, having an influencer mindset, because they know, hey, I've curated a group of people who are interested in X, Y, Z, and I get to pick and choose who get exposed to those people. And they're so protective of their tribe and their community. And I think if business owners start to think like that, you can definitely start to see some very creative ideas pop up.
I think that is great. I think that we do need to be very cognizant of things. I think sometimes it's a hard mind switch to accept that you're an influencer, right? Because what I've learned is that people sometimes have difficulty just with the switch from going to I'm starting my business to I'm an influencer now. What would you recommend for that, for the person stuck between those two?
I would say don't even call yourself an influencer. I said adapt influencer thinking. So you can still be whoever you are, right? I'm still Audria Richmond, branding and marketing genius, but I'm not going to, I'm not, like, one of the things I heard from a lady that coach influencers is, like, stop calling yourself an influencer. Like, it should be evident that you have influence by your engagement on social media, about how people respond to you, about how quickly you can close deals and so on and so forth. That's all influence. I think the whole influencer thing is like one of those trendy terms that people are just utilizing to make money with. It'll be some new fancy term come 2018.
Yes, because we've seen that over the time, right? We've seen so many things go in and out, and I think stability really is what changes the game, consistency, because terms and getting caught up in this and that, and even with live streaming and podcasting, it has evolved. I remember before, Facebook Live and Periscope, we were doing video hard, and before video, we were doing, like, everybody was doing conference calls. Before that, so what you're saying is definitely true. Stay true to yourself, and that has been the beautiful message today. And so I think what we need to do is definitely talk to the people about how they can stay connected, how they can get their copy. I'm so excited about getting mine in the mail. I feel like this is going to be the next piece to jumpstart 2018, right? So I feel like in my mind I started 2018 already. I'm not even in 2017 anymore, but I am excited about that book. So tell us all the ways that we can stay connected to you, and definitely how we can get your book.
Absolutely. So you can get the book at unclonedlifebook.com. Also, you can find me online anywhere. I'm Audria Richmond across all social media platforms, from YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Wherever you can find, your favorite social media channel, I definitely have a presence.
Yes, ma'am. What is your favorite social media that you hang out on the most?
Facebook, for sure.
And why is it Facebook?
Facebook, in my opinion, is like the granddaddy of social media. Even though social media accounts came out before Facebook, Facebook really took that initiative to make, social media integrated. And you don't see a lot of platforms integrating themselves as a part of your life, right? Especially when you think about Facebook, it's so multifaceted. You got the groups, you got the fan pages, you got profiles, you have events, you got the store, you got Messenger, you have, now you got Watch. It's so integrated into your life that even if you wanted to quit Facebook, it would be the hardest thing to do, especially if you have integrated with your personal life, right, keeping up with family and friends, and then you've integrated with your business life, connecting with clients and customers. So because it's so integrated in your life, it's the granddaddy of social media. You can't do that with any other platform that's out there.
You're right about that. Because there have been times when I'm like, I want to take a social media break. I want to shut down this Facebook and start all over. And you're right. It's definitely like, okay, how would that even happen? They have changed the game, and they were uncloned because we weren't into Facebook, into a platform like that. We liked our music on MySpace. we like that. So I think that is definitely uncloned.
And another thing to add to that too is Facebook is always evolving, and other platforms have gotten comfortable. They've gotten so comfortable with its initial way it works, right? And Facebook is always challenging how it works. So I think that's another reason why they're killing it too, because they're not afraid of change. And that's another reason why people are stagnant in their business, afraid of change.
Y'all better get to experience Atlanta and see Audria. Y'all better get there. That's all I'm going to say. That was $1 trillion wisdom, what you just said, because I know I looked at my app the other day, and it looked totally different than the few seconds before. It seemed like it changed instantaneously. I looked at it, put my phone down, came back, and the whole thing was changed. So you got to stay relevant, and you got to change the game, and you've got to be just there. You got to be ready to make some grand things happen. It's funny because even for Experience Atlanta, I am doing something that I have never done before at a live event. So, yes, it's because I do want to end this year, on a bang and just really showing the next level. And sometimes you can't tell people the next level. You got to show them what's happening.
Come through. Ooh, do you hear me stepping? She said sometimes you can't tell them, you got to show them. Show me, okay? Show me the next level. Yes.
And that's why you have got to be there. And that is one thing, every day in your group and every time I've taken your class. And one thing, I took your class was a publicist taking your PR class. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this because I was like, school's never out for the pro. And the way that you broke down PR, I'm like, that is the introductory class I need to give all clients. Because even as a publicist, people don't understand PR. Oh, my God. They do not understand it. And, so many people have come back to me about other publicists and said they did not help me. But there is something, you broke down what they need to do prior to getting a publicist. Really, this is the prereq to hiring any publicist. And I watched it. I'm still watching it because it's great. I just appreciate you as a person, as a business owner, as a brand. I do because I've learned a lot just through watching you. So, again, thank you for being here. Please give your contact information one more time and any last words you want to say.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to be at your event. I got my calendar marked. I'm so glad that I had an opportunity to sponsor your event. Your approach for sponsorship sold me, so that's why I was like, take my money. That's a whole other story. But I'm Audria Richmond on all social media platforms. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, guys. You got to connect with Audria. I cannot wait to talk to you, like, after Experience Land, because I'm going to say, Audria, was that uncloned move I did? I cannot wait. I feel like you're the uncloned coach. You got to do everything. So, guys, again, connect with Audria Richmond. She is the bomb. She is the truth. And so thank you for everybody who listened to the conversation today. If you want to connect with me, all you have to do is to spell my first name correctly. My name is Stevii, not I-E-I-I. So you can find me at Stevie.com all over social media, and it will be a pleasure for you all to be at Experience Atlanta. Again, you could get the last couple of tickets are there. You could get that at Stevie.com. And anybody who knows me knows I never say have a great day. Never say have a great day. I always say make it a great day. Why? Because you, and yes, you too, have the power to do so. Bye for now.